Hello, it's me again, Iobst of A-Team Realty LLC, and I'm here once again to share with you the latest news and information for the DC Metro real estate market. Now, I apologize for not getting to you sooner this month. I have been busy with a lot of my buyers' clients who are excited about taking advantage of the market trends. It's still a very hot buyer's market with 18% absorption rates. In addition to that, of course, we have the tax incentives offered by the government, the $8,000 tax credit. Inventories remain high and buyer demand is relatively low, although it is picking up steam. So let's take a look at last month's numbers, shall we? And I'll explain to you why it is such a hot buyer's market still, although things are improving slightly. Here's why. Alright, let's first talk about absorption rates. The absorption rate remained relatively flat since about April of this year, changing only slightly from April to last month in August. Averaging about 18.5% for the entire span of that period, most of the spring and the summer of this year. We did experience higher absorption rates in the last couple of months as compared to the past 3 years. So that same period of time, both the spring and the summer for 2006, 2007, and 2008 were not as strong as the last couple of months here in 2009. And that indicates again that the real estate market is strengthening. Buyer demand is stronger relative to inventory now than it has been over the past 3 years. And I expect that the demand will actually pick up a little bit more here towards the end of the year as more buyers try to purchase properties before the end of the tax year so they can take advantage of the credit offered by the government, the $8,000 tax credit. We're also going to see an increase in inventory due to the foreclosures, so the bank-owned properties will continue to increase the inventory. So we're just going to have to keep a close eye on that to see if that additional inventory can offset the buyer demand that I expect to increase as well. So I'm thinking that the absorption rate will remain between 16 and 18% through the rest of this year. All right, now let's talk about days on market. The average days to sell a house remains pretty high. It did decrease again last month, 1% compared to the month prior. It still takes 3 months to sell a property, so if you plan on selling a property, allow for 3 months to do so. I expect to see the number of days it takes to sell a property remain about the same, maybe increase slightly due to the longer sales cycles caused by the short sale properties that we're seeing more and more of. Those type of transactions typically take a little longer than the average sale directly from an owner or even a bank. Those two transactions do tend to be about a 30 to 60 days sales cycle, whereas the short sales could be 3 or as many as 6 months in my experience. Now the sales prices. Let's talk about market values and what we're seeing here. The average sale prices in our region remained about the same. They decreased slightly, less than 1% last month, so nothing to worry about. In Arlington County, we had an increase of about 2.5%. Fairfax County experienced an increase of just under 1%. Baltimore County decreased about 2%. Montgomery County remained about the same, decreasing 0.5%. PG County increased less than 1%, and Washington, D.C. decreased about 3.5%. So I'm not seeing anything significant here. I think these are just the normal fluctuations that are caused by all kinds of variables in the marketplace. But I'm not seeing anything that would initially lead me to believe we're seeing a reversal in the trends that in terms of sales price. I'm expecting to see property values remain relatively flat for the entire 2009 year. Again, I think the inventory and the demand are going to offset each other, causing basically a flattening of the sales prices. I'm not expecting to see prices dip, but I'm also not expecting them to see an increase for the remainder of this year. Now let's talk about the number of sales. The number of sales decreased pretty significantly last month, about 11%. And although that does seem pretty dramatic, relative to the last couple of years, we're still way ahead in terms of the number of sales. On average, every month we have more sales than we had last year in 2008. So we're still seeing more activity than we had in the past year, 2008. I also expect to see the number of sales slow down, but remain relatively high for the fall and winter seasons, again, due to the incentives in the strong buyer's market. All right, and with that, I'm done. I appreciate you taking the time and listening to this month's market report. I'll see you again next month. Take care.